Hello and welcome to Absolute Trust Talk. This is our podcast here at Absolute Trust Counsel. I'm Kirsten Howe, and I am the managing attorney at Absolute Trust Counsel. I've got our two associate attorneys here, Jessica Colbert and Ariana Flynn. And today we're going to do what I think is one of our favorite things to do, which is a little bit of I'm going to say celebrity gossip, although I hesitate to use that word celebrity. And we're going to tie it to a little bit of education. The person that we are talking about when I use that word celebrity is the man of the last 3 or 4 weeks, Luigi Mangione. You all have heard of him. He's the person who allegedly shot the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, and then there was a big manhunt and they finally captured him. And we know a lot of things about Luigi, all kinds of little facts drip out here and there. He graduated from an Ivy League college. He comes from a very wealthy family in Baltimore. But one thing that Ariana dug up recently is that apparently he was named a beneficiary in his very wealthy grandmother's will. And so and it's interesting to us, of course, because we're we're estate planners. Anything about a celebrity's estate plan is interesting. So we're going to talk about it a little because there's some things to be learned. Jessica, tell us a little bit about this supposed will.
Yes. So the grandmother, Mary, died in 2023. And she was the matriarch of a large family. She had 10 children and 37 grandchildren, including Luigi. She was a Baltimore area millionaire, and we haven't actually seen a copy of this will or trust, but it allegedly says that the grandchildren and children could inherit as long as they had not been charged, indicted, convicted, or pled guilty to a felony.
Which is possibly problematic for our friends.
Celebrity.
Yeah. But Jessica, you said we haven't actually seen a copy of a will or trust. Ariana, what do you know about this?
Yeah, so allegedly from what, hypothetically speaking, what we do have is language from this alleged will that expresses the Mary's intent and her wish. And so whenever you see the words wish or I hope, that kind of leads to this legal term called precatory language in a will, which is different than an express term, which is legally binding.
Right. Okay. And I just want to be really clear that we're just kind of repeating what Fox News has been saying, and we haven't seen the will. We don't know. As far as we've been able to tell, or at least I've been able to tell, nobody else has come forward and said, oh yeah, I have a copy of it too. In California, we would be able to find that if we went to the courthouse and requested it, but we don't know. This is what Baltimore. So Maryland, we don't know. We don't know what their practice is. But anyway, back to the terminology in question. You use the word precatory, which is not a word that anybody other than, I think, estate planners ever use, but it's a real word. It's not made up.
Right. And precatory is basically just a wish that the person drafting the will puts in their plan. It's not legally binding, but it does just express the intent. The settlor or executor doesn't really have to follow that, but it's just a good indicative way of expressing the settlor's intent. So there are, because it's not legally binding, we kind of want to make sure that if a settlor does want to include language that it's enforceable, that they, include a language in a way that could be enforced legally. So I think this is good practice for us and other estate planners and other clients who do have wishes to make sure that they, avoid precatory language if they really do want to enforce something. So, are there any ideas or ways to avoid or to enforce a client's wealth and values?
this one where there's the use of a disqualifying clause. Here, the grandmother was saying that a beneficiary would be disqualified if they had committed a felony, or that it was her wish that that was the case. When using these sorts of clauses, the provision could have been much clearer if her intent was truly that the beneficiary be excluded. It could have just said a beneficiary who has been charged, indicted, pled guilty to a felony is excluded, and in that way it would be enforceable.
Yeah, it's kind of funny if she actually said it as a wish or a hope, if she actually used precatory language. Why? If that seems like something that would be that could be easily made very clear, very simple for the trustee to implement. And if you kind of muddy it up by saying it's my wish, I don't know. To me, that invites litigation, I would think, or it opens up the door to it. What do you think about that, Ariana?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You take something that should be an enforceable clause and you muddy up the water with the with the word wish. Even if it's just one word, it could absolutely change the effectiveness of that sentence.
Yeah. So by not expressly giving the trustee the authority to do the thing that you wish they would do, you're putting the trustee in a tough spot, I think. Either way, if they exercise it and they shut somebody who done something bad out, that person's going to be mad. And if they don't, all the other beneficiaries are going to be mad. It's just not a good situation. I wouldn't take that job as trustee in that situation. I'm just saying.
Right. With this many beneficiaries too, I can see if this will is legitimate and we can get a copy of it, or I can see some sort of tension in the near future.
Yeah, I think this is not on the topic of precatory language, but the more beneficiaries you have, probably the more possibility there is for disagreement that rises to the level of litigation. We'll just have to wait and see, and maybe we will get a copy of that will, and we'll have something further to say about it in the future. I hope you learned a little bit and maybe had a little bit of amusement there. So thank you for going with us down that little gossip rabbit hole. And we look forward to connecting with you next time.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com/scheduling. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next live episode. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcouncil.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.